Jason Miles stood at the grand entrance of Evergreen Country Club, his heart racing with excitement and anticipation. The sprawling lawns, meticulously manicured and lush with vibrant green grass, stretched out before him like an emerald carpet. Elegant fountains danced in the sunlight, their crystal-clear water sparkling as it cascaded down into perfectly arranged flower beds, bursting with colorful blooms. The well-kept golf course unfurled in the distance, its rolling hills and pristine fairways, creating a picturesque scene that embodied the luxury he had long dreamed of being part of. Yet despite the beauty surrounding him, Jason felt the weight of history pressing down on him, a heavy reminder of the exclusivity and unwelcoming atmosphere that had defined this place for generations, particularly for individuals who looked like him. After filling out the application for membership, he had received an invitation for a private meeting with the club's manager, Richard Blake, a name that loomed large in his mind. As Jason entered the opulent office, he was struck by the grandeur that enveloped him. The walls were adorned with portraits of past presidents, their stern expressions seemingly judging his every move. Luxurious leather chairs flanked a polished mahogany desk, and the faint scent of expensive cologne hung in the air, mingling with the rich aroma of polished wood. In that moment, he felt a mix of hope and apprehension, as if he were stepping onto a stage where the outcome was uncertain. "Mr. Miles," Richard began, his tone cool and formal, devoid of warmth. "Thank you for coming in today." Jason nodded, swallowing the lump in his throat. "Thank you for having me. I believe I can bring a lot to the club." His voice wavered slightly, betraying the nerves he tried to suppress. However, as Richard spoke, Jason's heart sank further with each word. "While your qualifications are impressive," Richard continued, his gaze steady yet unyielding, "we are looking to maintain a specific culture here at Evergreen, one that has been upheld for generations." Jason's face flushed with humiliation, anger simmering just beneath the surface as Richard's true biases emerged, cloaked in the guise of politeness. It became painfully clear, despite his credentials, experience and passion for community engagement, he was being denied membership solely because of his race. As he left the club, the oppressive atmosphere weighed heavily on him, but instead of retreating into despair, a fire ignited within him. This moment of rejection wouldn't define him. It would fuel his determination to challenge the status quo and strive for change. This wouldn't be the end of his journey. Rather, it was just the beginning. Later that evening, Jason met with his close friend and fellow club official, Mia Parker, at a cozy cafe tucked away in their neighborhood. The familiar aroma of freshly brewed coffee and baked goods surrounded them, but Jason felt a storm brewing inside. He shared the details of his meeting with Richard, his voice low but laced with anger that simmered just below the surface. "They think they can just keep their doors closed to people like me. But what if I bought the club?" His eyes sparkled with a mix of defiance and hope. Mia raised her eyebrows, intrigued, a playful smile tugging at her lips. "Are you serious? That's a huge step. You'd be shaking up a whole lot more than just the membership roster." "Absolutely. I want to transform Evergreen into a place that welcomes everyone," Jason declared, his voice filled with conviction. "A modern country club that thrives on diversity, not just privilege. Imagine a place where families from all backgrounds can come together, share experiences, and enjoy everything this club has to offer without the fear of judgment." They settled into their discussion, with Jason leaning forward, his hands animatedly sketching ideas on a napkin. They began crafting a detailed plan, outlining the sweeping changes he would propose: renovations that would modernize the facilities, vibrant community outreach programs that would engage local residents, and marketing strategies aimed at attracting younger, more diverse members who would bring fresh energy to the club. Mia, always the pragmatic one, jotted down notes and asked incisive questions, ensuring they covered every angle. We could host open house events, invite local artists for exhibits, and partner with schools for youth programs, she suggested, her enthusiasm matching Jason's. With Mia's support, Jason reached out to potential investors, sharing his vision passionately and articulating the economic benefits of a more inclusive membership base. They brainstormed slogans and mission statements that reflected their goals, eager to create an inclusive legacy that would redefine what Evergreen could stand for in the community. Each idea ignited Jason's determination further, solidifying the belief that change was not only possible, but necessary. A week later, Jason met with Mia and his financial advisor, Tom, to finalize the details of the acquisition. They gathered in a sleek conference room at Evergreen, its glass walls offering a panoramic view of the meticulously manicured grounds below. The sunlight filtered through, casting sharp shadows that mirrored the tension and opportunity in the air. Across the table sat Richard Blake, his expression a mask of skepticism, flanked by a couple of board members who exchanged glances, their discomfort palpable. "Jason, your proposal is ambitious," Richard began, his tone clipped, as if he were measuring each word carefully. "But can you really maintain the club's quality while changing its core values?" His arms were crossed defensively, and the faint tapping of his fingers on the table betrayed his unease. "Yes," Jason replied firmly, a surge of confidence rising within him. "We can be exclusive in our standards without excluding people. We need to adapt to the changing world, or risk becoming obsolete." He looked around the room, making eye contact with each board member, conveying his earnestness and resolve. As the hours ticked by, the atmosphere shifted. Jason, with Mia and Tom by his side, passionately outlined his vision, detailing how inclusivity could enhance the club's reputation and financial health. He spoke of hosting community events, introducing mentorship programs for young golfers, and diversifying membership to reflect the surrounding area. Each point he made was backed by data and examples from other successful clubs that had embraced change. Richard leaned back in his chair, his expression softening ever so slightly as he listened. After what felt like an eternity of negotiation, Richard begrudgingly agreed to the sale, the weight of the moment settling on Jason's shoulders like a cloak of responsibility. As the documents were signed, Jason felt a surge of hope course through him. This was just the beginning of a long-awaited transformation, a chance to redefine not only Evergreen's future, but also its identity in the community. He glanced at Mia and Tom, their faces alight with excitement, and realized that together they were embarking on a journey that would make a lasting impact. Once the deal was closed, Jason wasted no time. He gathered the club's staff in the main hall, a grand space adorned with chandeliers that sparkled like stars overhead, while the walls were lined with portraits of past leaders, their stoic faces seemingly judging the moment. The air buzzed with anticipation as staff members shuffled in, some casting nervous glances at each other, while others seemed intrigued by the impending changes. "I know change can be difficult," Jason began, his voice steady but passionate, "but Evergreen needs to evolve. Our membership is declining, and we must embrace new ideas to survive." He paused, letting the weight of his words sink in, and surveyed the room, noting the mixed expressions on their faces. Skeptical murmurs rose from the crowd, particularly from one older staff member, Edward, who had been with the club for decades, his weathered hands resting on the table. "You'll alienate long-time members if you push this too fast," he cautioned, his voice laced with concern and a hint of defensiveness. The tension in the room thickened, and Jason could feel the weight of tradition pressing against the momentum of change. Mia stepped forward, her presence commanding yet approachable. "It's about creating a legacy that values respect and inclusivity. We can honor our traditions while welcoming new faces," she said, her tone imbued with warmth. She shared anecdotes of successful clubs that had transformed while preserving their essence, highlighting how change could lead to revitalization rather than ruin. Encouraging open discussion, Jason invited everyone to voice their opinions. "This is a team effort," he emphasized, gesturing around the room. "Your thoughts matter, and together we can shape the future of Evergreen." As the meeting progressed, a shift began to occur. Staff members started to see the potential benefits of the proposed changes. Some nodded in agreement, whispering among themselves about the new events and community outreach they could implement. However, Edward remained steadfast in his skepticism, his furrowed brow betraying his apprehension as he crossed his arms tightly, unwilling to concede. The contrast between his unwavering loyalty to tradition and the emerging enthusiasm from the rest of the team was palpable, setting the stage for a battle of ideas that would define the future of Evergreen. With the staff on board, Jason and Mia began planning their first community event, a charity golf tournament to benefit a local children's hospital. This event was not merely a fundraiser, it was a crucial opportunity to demonstrate Evergreen's commitment to inclusivity and to foster relationships with the surrounding community. They envisioned a lively day filled with activities that would attract families, food trucks offering diverse cuisines, games for children, and even a raffle with exciting prizes donated by local businesses. As they coordinated the logistics, Jason proposed revising membership policies to focus on character and community involvement, rather than wealth alone. "It's about fostering a sense of belonging," he said passionately, his eyes gleaming with determination. "We want members who care about contributing to the community, not just those who can pay the highest dues." He laid out his vision for a more democratic approach to membership that would encourage participation and engagement. Mia nodded in agreement, her fingers dancing over the notes in her notebook. "And we'll need to highlight the successes of our initiatives to win over any remaining skeptics," she added, brainstorming ways to effectively communicate their mission through social media campaigns and local press releases. They discussed the importance of showcasing testimonials from community members and staff, painting a vivid picture of the vibrant, inclusive club they were striving to create. Jason knew that resistance from traditionalists, particularly Edward, would continue. Edward's long-standing loyalty to the club's exclusive culture was a formidable barrier. Yet, he felt energized by the positive feedback from the staff and the enthusiasm radiating from the planning sessions. With each passing day, Jason's excitement about the changes on the horizon grew, fueled by the potential to redefine Evergreen as a beacon of hope and inclusivity in the community. He envisioned a club where laughter and collaboration flourished, and he was determined to make that vision a reality, one event at a time. The day of the charity tournament dawned bright and clear, the sun casting a warm glow over the meticulously manicured greens of Evergreen Country Club. A palpable sense of joy filled the air as attendees, both long-time members and enthusiastic locals, flocked to the grounds. Vibrant food trucks lined the entrance, offering a diverse array of cuisines from spicy tacos to gourmet vegan sliders, drawing in a crowd that mingled and chatted eagerly. Children dashed about on the lush lawns, their laughter ringing out as they played games like tug-of-war and sack races, while parents cheered them on from picnic blankets spread out nearby. As Jason moved through the crowd, shaking hands and sharing smiles, he felt a profound sense of pride in what they were building together. Each interaction reinforced his vision of a club that not only upheld its traditions, but also embraced a vibrant community spirit. He stopped to admire a group of kids gathered around a face-painting station, their faces transforming into colorful animals and superheroes, a perfect representation of the day's celebratory atmosphere. However, amidst the joy, Jason's gaze fell upon Edward, standing at the edge of the festivities. His posture was rigid, arms crossed tightly, and his expression was a storm cloud of discontent. When their paths finally crossed, Edward wasted no time launching into a diatribe, his voice raised above the laughter and music that filled the air. This isn't what Evergreen stands for, he snapped, glaring at the colourful scene before him. You're turning it into a public spectacle. It feels like a circus, not a country club. Jason took a deep breath, maintaining his composure despite the confrontation. Growth requires adaptation, Edward. We can honour our past while welcoming new perspectives, he replied, his voice steady but firm. He gestured toward the crowd, the laughter of families, and the smell of delicious food, creating a vibrant tapestry of community. Look around you. This is what it means to be inclusive. This is the future of Evergreen. Edward's frown deepened, but Jason pressed on, knowing that change would be difficult for some. Our legacy can be one of excellence and respect for all, not just a few. Today is a celebration of that vision, and I hope you can see it. As he spoke, a few curious onlookers paused to listen, sensing the tension between the two men. Jason felt a surge of determination. He was committed to bridging the divide and fostering a sense of belonging. With every word, he aimed to dismantle the walls of exclusivity that had long defined the club, hoping that even Edward might one day come to see the potential in their shared future. Later, Jason met with Mia to discuss the event's success and the feedback they received. We raised a significant amount for the hospital, and the community responded well, he said, feeling hopeful. Still, Edward is rallying the older members against us, Mia warned. We need to show them that inclusivity doesn't mean losing quality. Let's showcase the positive impact we can make, Jason suggested, ready to devise a strategy. They brainstormed ways to document their changes visually, highlighting the diverse events and community involvement that would redefine Evergreen's image. As they implemented their vision, Jason faced continuous pushback from Edward and other traditionalists, who clung tightly to the club's storied past. During a particularly tense staff meeting, Jason could feel the weight of the room pressing down on him. He scanned the faces of his team, noticing Edward glaring from across the table, arms crossed defiantly and his jaw set in a hard line. Change is necessary for survival, Jason asserted, his voice rising above the murmurs. We can't let fear dictate our future. Evergreen can thrive as a place where everyone feels welcome, and I won't let a few voices of dissent derail our progress. He paused, letting the gravity of his words sink in, searching the eyes of his colleagues for signs of support. The room buzzed with mixed reactions, some nodding in agreement, others shifting uncomfortably in their seats. Mia stood by his side, unwavering, her presence a beacon of encouragement. We're building something special here, she said, her tone infused with optimism. Imagine a club where our children and grandchildren can gather, where every face reflects the diversity of our community. Her words sparked a flicker of hope among the staff, though Edward's scowl remained firmly entrenched. Despite the challenges, Jason's determination didn't waver. He spent countless nights strategizing and envisioning the bright future he knew Evergreen could achieve. However, during a quiet moment in his office, a call from Mia broke the silence. Her voice was laced with concern. Jason, we need to talk. Edward's been meeting with other older members, voicing his dissatisfaction with our direction. He's rallying them against us. Jason took a deep breath, the weight of her words settling in. The confrontation he had anticipated was now looming closer. Thanks for the heads up, Mia, he replied, his mind racing with thoughts of how to address the brewing dissent. It's time to face this head-on. We need to clarify our vision for the club, not just for the board, but for everyone. During the next club meeting, a tense atmosphere hung in the air as Jason faced the board and presented his vision once more. Our legacy can evolve, he insisted, his voice steady despite the undercurrent of anxiety. Inclusivity and excellence are not mutually exclusive. We can honor our traditions while welcoming a broader community. As Jason spoke, he could see Edward shifting in his seat, his face reddening with indignation. The moment Jason finished, Edward stood up, his posture rigid and defiant. "You think you can just come in here and change everything overnight?" he shouted, his voice cracking with emotion. "You'll drive away the real members. This club has thrived on its exclusivity, and you're threatening to dismantle it." Jason met Edward's fiery gaze, his heart pounding, but his resolve firm. "I believe in the future of Evergreen," he replied calmly but assertively. "But if you can't support our new direction, maybe it's time to reconsider your place here. We cannot cling to the past while the world around us is changing." A hush fell over the room, tension crackling like electricity. The board members exchanged glances, some looking surprised, others intrigued. Jason felt the weight of the moment, knowing that this confrontation could define the future of the club. He held his breath, waiting for Edward's response, aware that their next steps would determine whether Evergreen would embrace progress or be shackled by tradition. As the meeting adjourned, Jason felt a mix of relief and renewed determination washing over him. He had stood his ground against Edward's opposition, and while resistance remained, he sensed a growing support for his vision among the other board members. Their thoughtful nods and murmurs of agreement had sparked a flicker of hope in his heart. Later that evening, Jason and Mia stood on the club's terrace, the warm breeze carrying the sweet scent of blooming flowers. They watched as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange, pink, and deep purple. It was a breathtaking view that reminded Jason of the beauty they were working to preserve and enhance. "We've made a real impact today," Mia said, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "But there's still more to do. The community is waiting for us to lead." Jason nodded, the vibrant colors of the sunset reflecting in his eyes, mirroring the passion that burned within him. "I won't let the past dictate our future," he replied firmly, determination lacing his voice. "Together, we'll build a legacy that embodies respect, excellence, and inclusivity. A place where every member feels valued, not just those who fit a specific mold." As they stood there, the excitement of possibility coursing through them, Jason envisioned a future filled with community events, diverse members, and a renewed spirit that honored both tradition and change. He knew there would be more challenges ahead: resistance from entrenched members, skepticism from those who feared the unknown. But with allies like Mia by his side, he felt ready to embrace them. Evergreen Country Club was not just a country club to Jason, it was a symbol of what could be achieved when people united for a common cause. It was a space where dreams of inclusivity could flourish, where laughter and camaraderie could echo through the halls, and where each new member could find a sense of belonging. As the last rays of sunlight faded, Jason made a silent vow to fight for that vision, no matter the obstacles. Months passed, and the changes Jason envisioned began to take root, transforming Evergreen Country Club into a vibrant hub of community activity. The once quiet grounds now buzzed with life, drawing in new members from diverse backgrounds and celebrating their rich tapestry of experiences. Families gathered for picnics, young professionals mingled over evening cocktails, and children laughed as they participated in weekend activities. The club's formerly closed doors swung wide open, inviting everyone to share in the joy of belonging. At a special gala celebrating their progress, the atmosphere was electric. Banners adorned with the club's new motto, "Unity in Diversity," draped the walls, and twinkling lights hung overhead, casting a warm glow on the excited faces in the crowd. Jason took to the stage, his heart swelling with pride as he surveyed the gathering of both new and long-standing members, their smiles reflecting the change that had taken place. "We've created something beautiful here," he declared, his voice steady and passionate. "A place where everyone is welcome, where respect and excellence are more than just words, they're our foundation." As he spoke, memories of the challenges he faced flashed through his mind: the initial rejection, the heated confrontations, and the doubts of the traditionalists. But those moments only fueled his resolve. The crowd erupted in applause, a wave of appreciation that washed over him like a warm embrace. In that moment, Jason felt a profound sense of fulfillment, knowing he had turned rejection into a legacy. Evergreen Country Club was no longer merely a place for leisure, it had evolved into a beacon of hope and inclusivity. Each event celebrated not just the club's history, but also its commitment to progress, shining brightly for generations to come. As laughter and conversation filled the air, Jason realized that they had not just created a club, but a community, a testament to the power of unity and the importance of embracing change.